Sharp Designs by Lakeisha, where I am designing my way through life and inspiring you to do the same. So it is 2020, guys. Happy New Year. This is the first vlog that I have been able to shoot because I actually had surgery on New Year's Eve, so I brought my New Year in a little bit of pain, but I am so much better, guys. I'm about 80% well. Yeah, if you are new here, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel so that you do not miss an upload, so that you can join the designer family. So I want to start off by letting you guys know what today's vlog is going to entail. It's just like a chat that I'm going to do with you guys. I'm trying not to make it too long because I know it's hard for you guys to actually sit through these type of videos, but I did want to touch on a few questions and things that I get from you guys quite often that you guys want to know. I've done a few Q&As on Instagram that I actually want to just kind of combine some of those questions into a vlog for you guys, talk a little bit about pricing and getting started. I think today, I guess I can start with a brief introduction for myself in case some of you guys are just joining the designer family. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So my name is Lakeisha and I am the owner, operator, creative director for Sharp Designs by Lakeisha, which is an event planning and balloon decor company in Atlanta, Georgia. At some point in time this year, I will be relocating to Seattle, which was discussed a couple vlogs back. My husband got a promotion. We will be relocating towards the end of the year to Seattle. So yeah, definitely gonna be a new adventure for me. However, I do still have tons of family, friends here, so I will still be doing events here in Atlanta as well as in Seattle. So it's not anything that's gonna stop the flow of things. The only thing that has had to change for me recently is I haven't been doing a lot of, or I haven't done any full service events since last summer, mainly because once I found out that we were gonna potentially be moving, I didn't wanna keep building an inventory of things that would end up, you know, being too much to pack up, move, sell, have to get rid of. So I've kind of halted that and I've been focusing more of my business on actually doing designer balloons and backdrops for hire, and I also do my YouTube vlogs. It's a great way for me to get my practice in as well as share the things that I'm learning in this industry with you guys. And then I have a daughter, Dakota, who you often see in vlogs all the time. She crashes the party. The only reason she's not here right now is because she actually fell asleep right before I started filming this. So that's who I am. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And then I had a few questions about as far as how I got started, what made me want to get started. The journey in the event planning industry I have found to be a very tricky one. I'm kind of navigating it by myself. I did do an online event planner course and I got my certificate from that. I felt like I got it just because I wanted to have the certificate, but as far as giving me any type of extra creativity or tools that I really think I need, I didn't find it very helpful. What I do think is going to be helpful, I do have two different event planners that I absolutely love and obsess on. One is in Texas and one is actually in New York. They do offer event planner workshops. I think one is only a day and the other one is like 2 or 3 days. So I do plan on doing one of those in the very near future to go, but that's what I plan on doing to expand my knowledge. On my YouTube channel, I do share a ton of information with you guys as far as making balloons, and I know how to make things pretty, but it's the business side of things that I find to have my own personal struggle with, to be honest. And sometimes I do get emails from you guys, a lot of times, about how to get started, you trying to understand the business side. I don't have all the answers for that. I'm still learning and figuring that on my own, but there are event planners out there that are very well experienced, doing a whole lot better in the event industry, getting the type of clientele that's like ideal and everything. Those are who you want to watch out for classes and things like that from, to expand your knowledge and just get that better insight. Another good question that I got from you guys on my Q&A was, the question was, some venues only giving you 2 to 3 hours to set up. How do I utilize that time? The thing with that is, it is very tough, especially for me, because most of the time I do things by myself and it's just a thing. I like to do it because I know it'll be done the way I want it to do. I might have my mom or my best friend Shayna. Those are kind of like my 2 go-to people for helping right now because I've taught them how to do certain things. But the best way to utilize the time is to make sure, the thing is that I always arrive early to the venue. If you tell me an event starts at 12, I'm gonna be there at 11 or 11:30, and I'm gonna take a risk. For example, when I did the balloon hoop a while ago, I got there early. I think I mentioned it on the vlog. I think setup maybe started at like 12. I got there at like 11:15, and I was like, hey, I'm here, I'm the balloon person for this event. Is it okay if I start bringing stuff? And they're like, yeah, go ahead, go right on. And I actually got an extra, 45 minutes time, because you have to keep in mind, you still have to unload and get stuff set up to where you need it to be easily accessible for you to create whatever it is that you're creating, whether it be full service or an event. So I always get to the venues early and just take a risk and see if they're gonna let me in. And if not, then at least I'm there when somebody is there to open the door, and I can get right in and get started. And you wanna also make sure that you have a plan. It's very important to make sure you have a plan of what you wanna tackle first, and things that are gonna take the longest. You wanna go ahead and get those done. The things that are easiest, you may wanna give to people that are there to help you, stuff that they can't mess up on. And then I just get going. You have to make sure you stay focused and have a plan. I always tell you guys, even when you're not doing full service events, even if it's just balloon garlands, it's very important to have a plan of what you want to do. You can't be out here just, well, you can, because I'm not gonna say you can't, because you can, because it's your style. Do you have a plan at the end of the day, and that's what's gonna help you be most successful. Or you can even reach out to the venue yourself after your client has booked and say, hey, I'm such and such, I really wanna do X, Y, and Z to make sure your venue looks the best that it can. I wanna get some amazing pictures. Are you okay with me coming in an hour before the time that my clients pay to set up if you don't have another event going on? Sometimes that has happened to me before. I worked with an event venue that was okay with me coming in 2 hours before the 2 hours that they gave for setup, just to make sure that I was able to get everything done, so that way we can get the best pictures that we can get for your event venue. I mean, it's a 50-50 win. I get to do my job to the best of my ability, and you also get some good promotional pictures to use to show people, hey, this is what my venue can look like, right? So you still sometimes have to think outside of the box to get things accomplished. But the most important part is having a plan, arriving on time, being early, and ask for help when you need it. That's something that I'm working on doing. Someone asked, how long does it usually take you to do a garland or wall for an event? As far as that goes, that takes me, I would say I would probably need I would prefer at least 2 hours for setup. If somebody had longer, that would be perfect, because then that way I can just do the balloon garland from scratch and not have to worry about renting the U-Haul. But typically, as the previous question said, you only have 2 or 3 hours for setup, and if it's just balloons, I'm not gonna go out of my way to ask for extra time, because I know I can do it in 2 hours, as long as nothing happens to cause me to get delayed, because I'm always early typically. I prefer at least 2 hours to get things the way that I want it to go per item that I have to do, and that's mainly because I just want to make sure that it's done, again, to the best of my ability. So typically 2 hours, I mean, I can do it. It typically can get done, unless you guys saw the vlog I did a while ago where I had 30 minutes to set up and how I managed to get all that done. So it can be done, but I prefer to not have to rush. I prefer to be able to think. But you know, you have to be prepared, and you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, which is what my husband is always telling me. When I say, like, I don't want to go that high up on the ladder, I was like, well, you need to get comfortable with doing that, because you never know what you're gonna have to do in this business. So you want to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and sometimes I do need less than 2 hours, but I have less than 2 hours, but I prefer to have at least 2 hours to get what I'm trying to do done. You guys have seen when I go to my events, I typically load the truck up. I have my base for my balloon garland already done, and then I bag up the fillers and have majority of those blown up. And then I'll go and fill in, and if I need extras, I'll blow up those extras and add those in and things like that. But I would prefer at least 2 hours. But if all I had to do was, if I had my base done and my fillers, I could do that in an hour or less. I just like to have extra time if I can get it. Somebody asked me, how did I learn to do this so well? Practice, and more practice. And you guys can see, if you watch me from the beginning, you can see the growth that I've had throughout this journey of event design and balloons, and falling in love with balloons now. So it just took a lot of practice, and practice on your friends and family. When somebody says, hey, I'm having a party, if this is something that you want to do for a business and you're trying to perfect it, use that as an opportunity to be like, hey girl, I I'll do some balloons for it. Or hey, do you want to have a balloon garland? And they say, yeah, I like those things. They just, I don't know if I want to pay for it this time. Well, you just get the balloons, give me $30, $40, I'll go buy a few balloons and let me do it. And you just get your practice on. You never know, if you do good enough, somebody at the party might be your first paying job or your next gig. So take that advantage to practice. And even if it's not for somebody, if it's something that you want to actually take on seriously as a business, spend the money, invest in yourself, buy you some balloons, and practice. So I'm gonna combine these two questions. The first one is, how did you generate business when you first started your business? And how do you advertise business? Is it just word of mouth? As I said, for the first one, I started off doing things for my family and friends whom I love, and I will still do anything for it to this day. I love doing things to make their parties look good. So I started off with my family and friends and did things for them. I think I've done something for all of my friends pretty much at this point. And then I kind of gave everybody a freebie. And then as far as building clientele, there are tons of things that you can do. Instagram is huge. On Instagram, social media is really, really big. So on Instagram, you have hashtags. That's a good way to get yourself out there. If you're in Florida or Orlando, you want to do Orlando balloons, Orlando event design, whatever decor you have in your, on that picture that you're posting, you want to hashtag. You can also just hashtag picture, do hashtags that have nothing to do with your thing, natural hair, things like that. And people might see them like, oh, that's pretty, and click on it. And before you know, you got a follower. Somebody's like, oh girl, such and such, found this person on Instagram with balloons. I know you're in Florida. If you need balloons, check this person out. You never know. I'm gonna do Instagram, and of course I have you guys here, my YouTube family. And there are other ways that you can generate things for yourself. I know there are a lot of bridal expos. There are a lot of ways. Flyers is the original old school way if you want to make some flyers. I haven't done flyers personally, just because I'm kind of in limbo right now, but it's something that I'm definitely interested in doing. Flyers, you just go to a lot at the mall or the Target shopping parking lot and stick a flyer in people's windows and saying, hey, it's me, I do balloons, or I do events, or I make this, or I do that, whatever your business is. Those are all ways to generate business. I'm sure there's some other ones. If you guys have any suggestions for people, definitely comment down below. This is just advice that I can think of to give you guys off the moment. Oh, and then another question was, how do I price for my balloons? I did touch on this in another pricing blog video with you guys that I did. It was a chat, and it was only because I was frustrated. I just felt like letting a little bit of stuff off my chest. You guys really seemed to like that video, and it's really started the dialogue on my channel as far as how, I don't want to say event planners and things are underappreciated, because I definitely think there are people that appreciate us. I just think that there are people who don't mind taking advantage of people and getting what they can out of people, which is something that I have definitely experienced, and I would hate for any of you guys to experience it. Before I jump into how I price, I just want to make the statement that make sure you know your worth and that you are charging what you should be charging. Don't be out here booked, busy, and broke. It makes 0 sense just to be doing something just to say you're doing it, unless you just don't care. And if you really have a passion for event design, balloons, things like that, I'm telling you, you will burn yourself out so fast, and it will almost take the joy out of it from you if you continuously underpriced and not doing work. Some people are like, well, if I don't charge less, I won't get the job. That just means that it's not the job for you. And I also had to learn that the hard way. I was out here doing stuff, literally nothing, just to get, just to do it, and it's not cool. It's not cool at all to undersell yourself or even allow people to take advantage of you, because what's gonna happen is you're gonna keep doing these little jobs, making little to nothing. You're gonna keep attracting these customers who want to pay little to nothing. If you wait until the right opportunity comes along, after you, this is after you have developed your craft and you are sure that you need to be making X amount of dollars, don't keep underselling yourself. You're gonna continue to attract those people who do not wanna pay or wanna pay little to nothing, and you're gonna keep getting those same jobs, and then where is that gonna take you for your career? You'll be doing beautiful work, but you'll be broke, or not broke, you won't be getting paid, I should say, because I don't wanna call nobody broke out here, and y'all be talking about we broke, I ain't broke. So yeah, you'll be working for free pretty much, and nobody wants to work for free. I know I don't want to work for free. Let me stop talking for y'all. But if you feel me, say amen down in the comments. But yeah, so how I do my garlands is I have a set amount, a set price for my garlands. That includes a certain amount of length and a certain amount of colors. If you want to add extra colors to your garland, you have to pay X amount of dollars per color. If you want to add extra length to your garland, you have to pay extra amount of dollars per foot. If you want specialty balloons like orbs, the agate marble balloons, or chrome, things like that, that is an extra fee as well. And yeah. Now, the good part about being in the place where I am at Zen, you guys, I have a large platform on YouTube, which is still growing, and I have my family on Instagram as well, that is still growing. And if you're not following me on Instagram, y'all go ahead and follow me on Instagram, sharpdesignsby_Lakeisha, and my personal page. You see all of our family stuff and more of Dakota. You can follow me at by_Lakeisha, and I have those linked down in the description box. But back to what I was saying. I get tons of inquiries, and if I literally got booked for every inquiry that I got, I would have a good amount of jobs per month. But the thing is, everybody doesn't always want to pay what and I don't even think my pricing is high, but people don't always want to pay or have the budget for what I'm charging, if that makes sense. So I'm not going to get every job that somebody is offering. And you might tell me your budget's $100. I don't do balloon garlands for $100 because I typically spend $50, $60, $70 in balloons per job, depending on the amount of colors or specialty balloons and things. So that would make sense for me to do your balloon garland for $100. And I just put like this, you know, and it's not even anything against anybody who can't afford it. I appreciate you reaching out, that's supporting my business. At least now you have my pricing and you may be more prepared for your next event. But I'm not gonna take the point is I'm not gonna take a job just to take a job, because then I'll have to spend money out of my pocket to be able to accomplish this job, and that's taking money out of my little bank account, out of my daughter summer clothes that she about to need coming up because the weather about to change, and I just can't do it. And I'm at a place also where I'm not gonna take away time from my child or time with my husband, who is now in another state. We see each other almost every weekend, but I'm not gonna take away canceling a weekend of him coming, of me going up there, or him coming home and me not barely being here to go do a job and not make any money just because it doesn't make sense. And if you have a family, I'm sure you can understand it doesn't make sense. And I would just say, don't keep selling yourself short, because there are people out there who can appreciate good work and don't mind paying for good work. And I think that's something that has to be respected, because somebody may say, oh, she came and charged me X amount of dollars and she decorated this room in an hour, or she did that balloon garland in 30 minutes. You're paying me for my time, but you're also paying me for the expertise. This is something that I have constantly worked and perfected the art of doing this job, whatever your job is, and you need to be paid accordingly for it. And that's just what it is. So don't undersell yourself. But yes, that is how I charge. You guys can charge how you want. Some people just charge per foot of balloon garland. Some people charge per whatever. And then you also have to, the way to figure out what you want to charge is you want to figure out what brand of balloons are you buying, how much is it averaging you when you do your events that you're having to spend per event. And then you want to calculate also in, for me, you guys know I do a lot of because of time, I do a lot of my garland bases beforehand, which means that I need a U-Haul because I don't drive a minivan. So I didn't need a U-Haul to be able to get my garland in and all my prep and things, so that U-Haul has to be paid for. Just make sure you're accounting for every little thing that you have to pay for. Are you gonna have to pay for parking when you get there? Things like that. It's wonderful if somebody has, 4 or 5 hour setup, then you can basically just take all your materials there and build from scratch. But when you have a short amount of time and you have to rent vehicles to make sure the job is done, you need to make sure that you are accounting for all of those things. The video to get extremely long. The main reason for this vlog was to do an intro to tell you guys happy freaking new year, and I am excited about 2020 and all that is going to be in store. And stay tuned for tons of DIY design, balloon, and family content from me. And I will see you guys on the next vlog.